Eric, would you agree that the culture wars are over, as many people would say, and that the other side won?
No. I don't think the culture war is over, primarily because the people who appear to be the victors right now are the least likely to procreate. So we will eventually breed them out of existence demographically.
And welcome back to Daily Wrap. It's time for Yea or Nay. First up, that was, of course, Red State Editor-in-Chief Eric Erickson speaking at the Gospel in Politics Conference in Nashville, Tennessee. Rick missed out this year. Erickson has a long history of spewing anti-gay rhetoric, and he also has a pretty big influence in the GOP as well. In fact, he'll be hosting several GOP candidates at a conference later this week. I think we could all agree that Erickson's comments were ill-advised, but is it smart politically for the GOP to associate themselves with him, Unger?
This is a little tough one for me because I know Eric, and believe it or not, I really like Eric. Eric in real life's a nice guy.
Was that a malicious comment, you think, or he was just making a joke?
I don't know. I think he was making a joke. Look, we don't agree on much politically. We probably don't agree on what time it is. But it's always hard when you hear somebody that you know and like say something like that, but you know that they can be different.
Okay, you're conflicted. The problem I have with Eric Erickson, actually, his parents. Who names him Eric when the last name's already Erickson? It's like the last name Thomas. Tom Thomas, yeah, that'll work. I don't know, I think that put him in a hole from the start. Right, exactly. There's a question here somewhere. What, was that obnoxious? Were you offended by it, or was the guy just making a joke?
I think he's sort of giving away the strategy, and I think he's leaving out some other parts too, like let's keep education down so people do procreate. He's giving away the strategy. Interesting. Does that hurt a GOP candidate if they're associated with him, or he's just not enough a name where no one's going to care?
Probably a little bit for primary purposes, unfortunately, because the only people who vote in primaries are the hardcore liberals or the hardcore conservatives, and when you're going hardcore conservative, you kind of have to not care for the smell of the people you're around a little bit.
And he has quite a scent.
He has quite an odor.
Eric stings nostrils.
Wow.
I got to tell you,
look,
he smells like pure
gasoline. It's the liberal sitting here being quiet. You notice that?
Yeah, very good.
It all changes when you know them.
We're going to be golfing with Eric on Sunday. Next up, Netflix and Microsoft are making headlines after announcing new maternity and paternity leave policies. Netflix announced Tuesday that it will now offer unlimited maternity and paternity leave, allowing its employees to take as much time as they want with pay during the first year of their child's life or the first year after an adoption. Not to be outdone, Microsoft announced today that it will begin offering 100% paid paternal leave for 12 weeks. That starts on November 1st. They also announced additional paid holidays and improvements to their 401k plans. Will Netflix and Microsoft experience the same backlash as gravity payments when they raise their minimum salary? Yea or nay, Unger?
No, I don't think so. I applaud them for what they did. It's a different scenario entirely.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to go and get pregnant simply so they can get that time off.
Get the 12 weeks.
Unless they're Republicans.
Makes me want to. Yeah. Good for them. I think that's a great cultural statement for us.
Okay, Nomi, you used up your termination, or the case?
I don't know if it's yay or nay. What was the question?
Will it be a backlash, or is this? I mean, they do it in Canada. I know you can take like a year off or something when you have a kid.
Come on. If Canada was so great, we'd move there.
Yeah, good point.
But I think what they're going to see is a lot of people abusing that, because if I could get a year off without pay, I'd take it.
Yeah. The best is the dad can take off because he went through so much, with the labor and everything.
It's not like you can give the kid away after the year's up. It's a pretty long-term decision just for a year off.
Interesting.
Sabbatical would be a lot cheaper.
If you have a daughter in China, you can
got one more to do. Jury duty happens to all of us, even former presidents. President George W. Bush arrived at court in downtown Dallas, Texas for jury duty. While he was not chosen, he did take the time to pose for some photos, as you see there. The other jurors said he was very friendly and personable. No surprise there. Was he dismissed because he was a former president? Let's ask the lawyer first. You.
Actually, he wasn't. He was dismissed because they had already filled the jury, but I suspect he may have been dismissed for that reason. But, not surprised at all. George Bush is a good guy.
He is, and the numbers show it quickly.
I think he stacked the jury.
Well said. Wouldn't it have been great if it was the OJ case?
It would have been
and he's there for weeks and weeks. Not great, but that would have been a hell of a story. Anyway, that's all for tonight. Thank you, panel. Thank you, Casey, for joining us for the first time. That's all for tonight. I'm Joe Concha, and on behalf of Rick Unger and the rest of said panel, I want to thank you for joining us. The Steve Malzberg Show. That's next.